afternoon. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Today on Newsfeed at noon, Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin slams former Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo for questioning the reorganization of the National Security Council. The death toll in the powerful quake that rocked Tibet climbs to 126. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump not ruling out military action to gain control of the Panama Canal and Greenland. And Marvel Comics' first Filipino superhero is making her animated debut this month. Thanks for joining us. Former Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo has no moral authority to question President Bongbong Marcos's decision to reorganize the National Security Council. That assertion from Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, who insists there is nothing personal in the issuance of Executive Order 81. Panelo has claimed the removal of VP Sara Duterte from the council is pure politics. In a press conference, Bersamin pointed out Panelo had also sought the exclusion of former Vice President Leni Robredo from the cabinet.
Meron ako nabasa na something that reminded me that Panelo, during his time as presidential advisor, was also advocated the exclusion of then Vice President Leni Robredo. No? So he has no moral authority to question the decision of the president. But the second thing that I would like to emphasize here is this. Look at it this way. The National Security Council is an advisory body. And this is an advisory body in relation to the president as the commander-in-chief. So the president has the right as well as the responsibility of seeing to it that whoever advises him is within his fullest trust and confidence. Now, I am not saying that the vice president has already does not anymore deserve to be trusted, but I'm just saying that with the recent developments, it is not going to be good advice or good action on the part of the president to still have her on board.
Panelo also slammed another Duterte ally, Harry Roque, after the former presidential spokesperson suggested Marcos could be eyeing a military rule.
The Constitution is very clear when may a president declare martial law. I don't think it is in the mind of the president right now. What he has in mind is the economic prosperity of the country, the health and welfare of the people, especially those of the lower classes, and the prioritization of his legacy projects. No? The president accepts that as the number one concern. It's not about martial law. It's not about extending himself in power. No, he has no thinking about that. He does not even think in those terms. Malicious talaga si Mr. Harry Roque.
The Information and Communications Technology Department assures the public no current information has been compromised following reports of Chinese hacking targeting government agencies. DICT Secretary Ivan John Uy says hackers were resurfacing old data, quote, to make an impression. He also asserts they have been quick to detect and secure the systems. Bloomberg has reported Chinese hackers stole military data, some of which were allegedly related to the West Philippine Sea dispute. This is said to be part of a years-long espionage campaign. The Chinese Foreign Ministry denied the report and said they oppose any kind of cyber attack. The Senate will launch a probe into the submersible drone recovered in Masbate, which contains Chinese markings. The Navy, meanwhile, notes this is not the first time that a drone was retrieved from Philippine waters. Francis Falve has the full story.
The Philippine Navy is not disregarding the potential threat posed by the submersible drone recovered in Masbate. According to Rear Admiral Roy Vincent Trinidad, Philippine Navy spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, the drone is currently undergoing forensic analysis. He stated that the investigation, which will cover the drone's physical structure, technical specifications, and electronic components, could take 6 to 8 weeks. The drone is possibly commercially manufactured, measuring 3.5 meters in length and weighing 94 kilograms. It might have been air-launched or deployed from a mothership. Based on its colors, yellow, red, and bright orange, it is often used for scientific research or tracking purposes. It was observed to have Chinese markings on it. The Philippine Navy has not ruled out the possibility of military applications.
This type of equipment are designed to gather bathymetric data or data that pertains to the depth of water, the salinity, the temperature. In today's world, that information crisscrosses different dimensions. What is useful for academic purposes, for commercial purposes, for scientific research also has military applications.
Rear Admiral Trinidad added that this is not the first time such devices have been retrieved from Philippine waters. In August, a similar device was found in the Northern Islands. In September, a part of another drone was turned over to the Philippine Navy by local fishermen. All these devices are currently being examined to determine their origin and purpose in Philippine waters. The involvement of fishermen is deemed crucial in the country's territorial defense.
I would like to highlight and to commend our fisher folks who were alert enough to notice this particular submersible drone in the waters of Masbate. They reported that PNP, hence the Philippine Navy and they came into the picture. Yung ating mga fisher folks are a indispensable part of the CADC. Maraming salamat sa agarang pagbigay ng aksyon nila. And I would like to tell them that ipagpatuloy nyo ang pagmamasid sa ating karagatan sapagkat kasama kayo upang manatiling ligtas at protektahan yung ating karagatan.
One consideration for the AFP is the strategic importance of the Eastern Seaboard, historically used as an access point to the Pacific Ocean by Americans and Japanese forces during World War II. There is speculation that the drone's purpose might be to map the area as Masbate lies at the entrance of the San Bernardo Strait, a strategic and important gateway to the Pacific Ocean and the Philippine archipelago. The Senate will launch an investigation into the matter. Senator Francis Tolentino has already filed a resolution seeking clarification from the Department of Foreign Affairs on whether permits were obtained from coastal states for the drone's deployment.
Wala pa akong alam. Kasi meron posibilidad na 100% sure galing ito sa isang mothership. Yung mothership na yon nasa loob ng ating karagatan. Subalit, meron din posibilidad na ito ay deactivated na at naanod na lamang. So, malaki rin ang posibilidad na hindi talaga sa San Pascual ito nilunsad. Maaring sa ibang lugar, deactivated na, naanod na lang sa ilalim.
The AFP is open to the Senate investigation.
The Philippine Navy and the AFP for that matter as a whole is willing to support any legislative activity or action in furtherance of developing the AFP's capabilities.
However, the Philippine Navy clarified that speculation does not equate to evidence. The AFP assured that it remains on top of the situation and is taking the matter seriously. Francis Polbe, Bilyonaryo, News Channel.
More than 22,000 devotees have so far flocked to the Quirino Grandstand in Manila for the traditional pahalik, or the kissing of the image of the Black Nazarene. Abante Radio's Andrea Salve joins us for an update. Andrea, what else can you tell us?
Jesus Nazareno devotees lining up for the traditional pahalik has doubled a day before the Traslacion procession from over 9,000 individuals on Tuesday afternoon. According to the Nazareno Operations Center, more than 22,000 devotees were already piling up as of 8 a.m. The line has already stretched from Quirino Grandstand to Kilometer Zero in front of Luneta Park. Senior citizens and persons with disabilities are given priority lane. Abante Radio was able to talk to an 88-year-old senior citizen who shares that he has been a Jesus Nazareno devotee since the 1960s. Antonio Buweg traveled alone from Cavite just like the previous years, a tradition, he says, that started when he was still in college. Jesus Nazareno was his light while he struggled in finishing his degree and his title as a geodetic engineer. He says the power of Jesus Nazareno allowed him to give his family a better future, something he thanks him for until this day. For this year, Antonio wishes for more years so he could continue to give back and spend time with his family. For devotees who plan on joining the pahalik, the weather continues to be cloudy with grayer clouds forming, so make sure to bring your umbrellas just in case rain starts to pour. Mai?
Thank you for that update, Andrea Salve of Abante Radio. We begin world news in Tibet, where the death toll is climbing from the powerful earthquake that rocked the Chinese region near Everest. 126 people have been confirmed dead, and many others remain trapped as aftershocks hit the region. Rescuers racing against time to search for survivors. More than 3,000 buildings were damaged and hundreds of houses were flattened. Adding to the misery of those left homeless, temperatures had fallen to -6 degrees Tuesday and forecast to drop further in the coming days. The magnitude 6.8 quake struck about 80 kilometers north of Mount Everest. Tremors also shook buildings in Nepal, Bhutan, and India. California bracing for the worst as a fast-moving wildfire burns. Governor Gavin Newsom has declared a state of emergency after visiting Pacific Palisades, where the blaze erupted. So far, the fire has already burned over 1,000 acres of land in the upscale Los Angeles suburb. And it could spread further as dangerous wind conditions, dry and warm weather sweep Southern California.
Stretch of the imagination, are we out of the woods? You heard a chief say 10 p.m. tonight till 5 a.m. tomorrow will be peak winds. And having just quite literally an hour or so ago gone up the canyon and saw firsthand the impact of these swirling winds and the embers and the number of structures that are destroyed, not a few, many structures already destroyed, and the fact that people were still not evacuated, still did not heed the warning, we're just coming down the canyon, is a reminder of how serious this moment is and how important it is you listen to these evacuation orders.
At least 30,000 are under evacuation orders, with more than 10,000 homes threatened.
It's just so sad, and I feel for everyone that's lost property and fires. I've never been this close to it. Driving down the canyon was really very shattering. I mean, I've never seen anything. Fires were this close to the cars. People left their cars on Palisades Drive, burning up the hillside, the palm trees, everything's going. And the wind and the firemen are great, but you can only do so much.
U.S. President-elect Donald Trump not ruling out military or economic action to gain control of the Panama Canal and Greenland. Trump made those remarks in a press conference that outlined his expansionist agenda 2 weeks before he returned to the White House, or his return to the White House. He also expressed his interest to make Canada a U.S. state. Trump suggested he would impose tariffs on Denmark if it resists his offer to purchase Greenland. Denmark has said Greenland is not for sale.
Well, we need Greenland for national security purposes. I've been told that for a long time, long before I even ran. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time. You have approximately 45,000 people there. People really don't even know if Denmark has any legal right to it. But if they do, they should give it up because we need it for national security. That's for the free world.
Trump also hinting at granting pardons to his supporters who were jailed for the 2021 Capitol attack. Trump rallied his supporters to block the certification of President Joe Biden's 2020 election victory, leading them to storm the Capitol. This resulted in a riot at Washington's seat of government that killed several people, including police officers and some of Trump's supporters. Trump was also impeached for a second time for inciting an insurrection. But up until now, he insists his supporters were the true victims.
You know, I see it all the time, and you see it too. People that were doing some bad things weren't prosecuted, and people that didn't even walk into the building are in jail right now. So we'll be looking at the whole thing, but I'll be making major pardons.
Washington begins its final farewell for the 39th President of the United States. The remains of Jimmy Carter lying in state at the U.S. Capitol Rotunda as lawmakers and the public pay their respects. Among those who have delivered their eulogies, Vice President Kamala Harris, House Speaker Mike Johnson, and Senate Majority Leader John Thune. Carter died last December 29 at the age of 100.
We meet in this sacred hall of self-government to honor an extraordinary man, a man who modeled the virtues of service and citizenship, as well as any other American. Surrounding us are the statues of those who gave their time, their energy, and their lives for the good of America. Before us lays a man who now joins their midst as a patriot, a veteran, a humanitarian, and the 39th President of the United States.
James Earl Carter Jr. loved our country. He lived his faith, he served the people, and he left the world better than he found it. And in the end, Jimmy Carter's work and those works speak for him, louder than any tribute we can offer. May his life be a lesson for the ages and a beacon for the future. May God bless President Jimmy Carter.
Carter's remains will be at the Capitol until Thursday. A funeral service will then be held at the Washington National Cathedral on January 9, a national day of mourning in the U.S. for the late president. We're taking a break. Up ahead, the Philippine government's outstanding debt hits a fresh high. That and more when Newsfeed at Noon returns.
The questions.
Why sounds very serious,
Seryoso,
but watch
no?
it.
Di ba parang, crime, may away pamilya, etc.
The issues.
Who are supposed to be on the faces of our bank, of our money?
Bangko Sentral, no? There is a numismatic committee who meets and decides.
We clarify matters.
The 1,000 peso bill was changed from the three heroes of World War II to the Philippine Eagle.
Pinky Web is always on point.
The latest news, national issues,
with regard to was very vocal about charter change.
The political scene, the trust and approval ratings of President Bongbong Marcos and Vice President Sara Duterte declined, and conversations with prominent personalities.
Brings back wonderful memories of past Christmases when I was a little boy in Iloilo.
Be timely informed, be insightful of the news. All these firsthand at the forefront.
Your newest source of news and information.
That's it?
Follows you everywhere, every day.
Wow.
Oh, man.
On cable and free TV. Online.
He joins us from the Batasang Komersyal.
On mobile.
Simulan na natin ang agenda.
This is BNC, and we are everywhere.
It
has no authorization.
We hope and pray that it will not.
Thanks for having me here.
An orchestrated
Myself, basically. We always say that.
It depends.
A well-concerted effort.
Perhaps I can reiterate.
My greatest beefsteak. Di ba na ipapadali?
Nuestro Padre Jesus Nazareno, niluluwalhati ka namin. Nuestro Padre Jesus Nazareno, dinarangal ka namin. Nuestro Padre Jesus Nazareno, dinarangal ka namin. Nuestro Padre Jesus Nazareno, niluluwalhati ka namin.
You're back on Newsfeed at noon. The Philippine government's debt hitting a fresh high in November. It reached 16 trillion pesos for a second straight month, no thanks to the peso's weakness. Of the total debt stock, nearly 11 trillion pesos was domestic debt, while foreign borrowings made up over 5 trillion pesos. Due to the peso's depreciation in November, the country's foreign debt increased by 38.88 billion pesos. Economic managers insist while the government's debt has been on the rise, it remains manageable as the local economy continues to grow. The Philippine government insists its efforts to temper inflation have largely been successful. That's despite the CPI hitting a 4-month high of 2.9% in December. Sujin Kim has the details.
The Philippines closed 2024 with an inflation rate of 2.9% in December, up from 2.5% in November and 2.3% in October. While inflation remains among the slowest in 4 years, this is also the highest in 4 months.
May increasing trend tayo nung October, November, December in terms of the inflation rate kasi nag-drop siya nung September, di ba?
The December uptick was driven by faster price increases in housing, utilities, and transportation. Rent inflation increased to 2.4%, while LPG soared with 7.8% inflation. Ship fares skyrocketed with 71.9% inflation, driving the sector's upward trend.
Yung pamasahe sa barko, may seasonality talaga yun, ano? Tumataas siya pag holidays, December and during summer. Hindi naman ito unique ngayong year, but of course, close to yung NCR, for example, close to 100%. No? But this is seasonality. We are expecting na after itong month, bababa naman itong pamasahe sa barko.
Restaurants, cafes, and the like lead as the top contributors to the December 2024 inflation, followed by rentals and food.
Normally, pag tumataas yung food basket, kasama yun sa restaurants. Plus, yung services, which means wages. So, yun yung may impact. Pero nakikita natin na yung malaking contributor talaga dito sa movement niya, yung raw materials, which is basically the food and non-alcoholic beverages.
Chicken, mangoes, and tomatoes are some of the food items that recorded higher inflation.
At the national level, ito yung nakikita kong basket natin ng commodities under the vegetables, tubers, cooking bananas at iba pa. Ang mataas na inflation rate dito, of course, kamatis, 120.8% inflation year on year. Cabbage, almost 38%. Malaki ang kanyang increase talaga dito sa National Capital Region. Yung level niya, ang NCR, yung average price ng kamatis noong Disyembre 2024 ay nasa 213 pesos and 45 centavos. Kung ikukumpara natin nung Disyembre nung 2023, ito ay nasa 64 pesos and 57 centavos lang. Ano? So talagang malaki yung kanyang increase.
Although food items such as onions and potatoes registered negative inflation, sugar, particularly brown sugar, noted slower price increase. MAPA explains typhoons and other meteorological events impact agriculture first.
November, parang 5 yata yung typhoons na nakita natin. Every time there's a typhoon, ang una talagang tumataas ang presyo ay yung mga gulay, no? Nakikita natin yung inflation rate for vegetables. But we see, of course, samahan pa natin yung demand, high demand noong holidays.
Still, prices of rice remained resilient. Regular, well-milled, and special rice are all down from November to December.
Baka mayroon tayong expectation na maging negative na yung inflation sa rice sa January. So that's part of the good news.
Chief Economic Planner Arsenio Balisacan says the government's efforts to temper inflation have largely been successful. Chairman of the House Committee on Agriculture and Food, Wilfrido Enverga, said the Anti-Agricultural Economic Sabotage Act helped lower the prices of food items. The rice tariffication law as well empowered Filipino farmers. The Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund increased the 10 billion peso annual allocation to 30 billion pesos to support rice farmers. Sujin Kim, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
The country's jobless rate fell in November according to new data from the Philippine Statistics Authority. Let's get more details from our correspondent Sujin Kim, who joins us now live from the PSA headquarters in Quezon City. Sujin, go ahead.
In November, around 49.54 million Filipinos were employed, pushing the employment rate up to 96.38% from a previous 96.1% in October. The country's unemployment rate declined to 3.2%, equivalent to 1.66 million Filipinos who are without a job or actively seeking work. Meanwhile, the underemployment rate, which tracks employed individuals seeking better jobs, dropped to 10.8% compared to 12.6% in October. This translates to 5.35 million Filipinos calling for improved job quality across sectors. The services sector continues to dominate employment, accounting for 62.1% of the workforce. This is followed by agriculture at 20% and industry at 17.9%. Key sectors experienced notable employment upticks, with more than 500,000 in manufacturing and accommodations. These gains reflect continued recovery in tourism-related industries and robust demand in manufacturing and healthcare. However, some industries experienced sharp employment drops. In November, 5 typhoons hit the Philippines, drastically affecting farmers with the steepest drop of close to 2 million, and fisherfolk with more than 270,000. Following the results of the labor force survey, Chief Economic Planner Arsenio Balisacan underscored the need for incorporating alternative work arrangements to account for the Filipinos' shifting work preferences. Secretary Balisacan also highlighted the need to encourage business upgrading and skills training program to provide competitive wages and improve workers' productivity.
Kung susuriin naman ang mga employed persons ayon sa class of workers nitong Nobyembre 2024, ang wage and salary earners pa rin ang nanatiling bumubuo sa may pinakamalaking bahagi ng employed persons na nasa 63.8%. Kasunod dito ang self-employed without employees na nasa 27.8% at unpaid family workers na nasa 6.6%.
While the employment rate is steadily improving, the decline in agricultures and fisheries remind us that we are so vulnerable to natural disasters. That's why from now on, our focus is on job creation and sustainable job creation and improving or providing better opportunities for our workers. And those are latest updates from Quezon City. Back to you, Mai.
Thank you for that report, Sujin Kim. Bilyonaryo Ramon Ang San Miguel Corporation, or SMC, completes a major cleanup of the Pampanga River. SMC has removed nearly 700,000 tons of waste in the river as part of its flood mitigation initiative in Luzon. The cleanup, which ran from August to December, was done at no cost to the government and taxpayers. Ang stresses the project is important in mitigating flood risks, especially in low-lying provinces such as Bulacan. In other news, actress Rufa May Quinto now under the custody of the NBI in connection with an alleged investment scam. Sources say she surrendered to authorities after arriving here in the country from San Francisco earlier today. She is facing 14 counts of violation of Section 8 of the Securities Regulation Code, which prohibits securities from being sold or offered for sale without registration. Her case is in relation to the issue of Dermacare, the same clinic involved in the arrest of actress-entrepreneur Neri Naig. We're taking another breather still to come. Social media giant Meta Platforms ending its fact-checking program in the U.S. Keep it here on Newsfeed at noon.
Every morning,
Getting better.
let's start your day right with fun and laughter. Join Paulo Del Rosario
Let's get you up to speed with some news that you could use right now.
and Asis Carillo.
We are bringing happiness and cheer along with inspiration, good vibes, and great energy.
And Monique Tuzon.
Your mornings are mo fun with us. Only here on
It's a beautiful day! This is The Scorecard, where you score the latest sports news and in-depth views. I'm Anton Rojas. Philippine football team reaches their first ASEAN Cup semi since 2018.
Vienna's vision emphasizes self-sufficiency and empowerment through education.
Bianca Bustamante, the Filipina driving phenom, transitioning from the F4 car to a GB3 beast.
Filipino billiards masters redefining legacy.
The Scorecard, where sports is our business and business is our sport, on the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Lifestyle, beauty, food. We got you.
If you want a gift that gives back, memories that is, this one is on my wish list too.
Join Marie Lozano where she uncovers the untold stories and surprises in the world of lifestyle.
I had already accepted my excess baggage fee. It's time to show me what you're really about.
The Lifestyle Lab on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. From the filing of candidacies until the last ballot is counted, your newest trusted news source, BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel, will be at the forefront to guide your decisions and guard your vote. Tune in to BNC's Election 2025 special coverage.
Nagpasalamat ang economic team kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos dahil personal nitong inupuan ang pagbusisi sa 2025 budget. Ang final version nakasusunod na raw sa Philippine Development Plan for 2023 to 2028. Pinakamataas ng alokasyon sa education sector na 1.055 trillion pesos. Kasama riyan ang budget ng DepEd, Commission on Higher Education at iba pang state academic institution. Pangalawa ang DPWH na bumaba sa 1.007 trillion pesos. Sinundan niya ng DND, Department of Interior and Local Government, Department of Health, Department of Agriculture, DSWD, DOTR, Judiciary, Labor Department at DOJ. 26 billion pesos ang navito sa DPWH dahil kailangan pa raw pag-aralang mabuti ang mga proyektong pinaglalaanan nito.
Welcome back to Newsfeed at noon. Again, the headlines. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin slams former Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo for questioning the reorganization of the National Security Council. The death toll in the powerful quake that rocked Tibet climbs to 126. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump not ruling out military action to gain control of the Panama Canal and Greenland. And Marvel Comics' first Filipino superhero is making her animated debut this month. With just a day to go before the annual traslasyon in Manila, let's get an update on security preparations. Joining us now on the line is Chief Public Information Officer of the NCRPO, Police Major Mirna Diploma. Good afternoon, Major Diploma.
Good afternoon, Miss Mai.
How many NCRPO personnel, ma'am, are deployed for this week's Black Nazarene Feast, particularly for tomorrow's traslasyon? Lalo na today, umabot po sa 22,000 ang mga deboto para sa pahalik. That's of 8 a.m. this morning, ma'am.
Nasa mahigit 12,000 kapulisan ang ipinakalat at nasa mahigit 2,000 naman ang mula sa iba pang ahensya ng gobyerno. So that 12,000 mahigit is kasama na po dyan yung ating augmentation from the Police Regional Office 3, Police Regional Office 4A. Magdadagdag pa po tayo ng kapulisan depende sa magiging sitwasyon, and mismo din ang aming Acting Regional Director, Police Brigadier General Anthony A. Aberin, will be on the ground para siguraduhin na maayos ang deployment at kalagayan ng kapulisan at mga deboto. Miss Mai, update na rin po doon sa ating estimated crowd as of 11 a.m. today. Sa Quiapo po, more or less 1,200. Sa Quirino Grandstand naman po is more or less 14,700. Total estimated crowd is 15,900, Miss Mai.
Okay, that's as of 11 a.m. Ngayong araw po, ano? Major Diploma, may additional security measures po ba kayo na pinapatupad para sa traslasyon ngayong taon, o may pagkakaiba po ba from the previous years?
Sa rota po, same lang po nung last year, then nagdagdag po ng x-ray machine kung saan dadaan po ang ating mga deboto para makita kung may mga dala po silang pinagbabawal. So idadagdag ko na rin po ang mga pinagbabawal is bawal po magsuot ng hoodie jacket, sombrero or bull cap, bag, water bottle that must be transparent po kung meron man. And same din po, transparent din po dapat ang dalang payong at pote. Mga taong nakainom ng alak, mga paputok at pyrotechnics, mga illegal vendor at talim at anumang uri ng armas, Miss Mai.
Okay, may security threat po ba kayo na monitor para sa traslasyon bukas?
Sa ngayon, wala po tayong namomonitor na anumang banta sa seguridad dito sa Metro Manila. Gayunpaman, ang inyong team NCRPO ay mananatiling alerto at handang rumisponde sa anumang oras at sitwasyon, Miss Mai.
Okay, how many devotees are we expecting po for tomorrow's event?
Last year po ay 6.5 million ang mga debotong nakilahok sa prosesyon. At inaasahan naman namin na mas marami pa ang darating sa January 9 na makikisali sa 5.8 kilometer procession from Quirino Grandstand hanggang sa Quiapo Church po, Miss Mai.
Okay, kasi po yung numbers po today, yung kanina nga na 22,000 para sa pahalik, it more than doubled from 9,000 from Tuesday's figures, di ba po?
Yes, Miss Mai.
Okay, maraming salamat po sa inyong panahon. NCRPO Chief Public Information Officer, Police Major Mirna Diploma. Lawmakers are studying the possibility of giving the executive branch the power to right-size without congressional approval. The Budget Department says billions of pesos could be saved if this is done. This report from Agatha Gregorio.
The government could save 3 billion pesos if they right-size just 3% of its workers. That's according to the Budget and Management Department at a consultative meeting with the Senate on the National Government Act of 2022. But lawmakers were quick to question this amount.
But you say, well, it's an incomplete figure because you have to pay separation din eh. You will not realize that on the first year that you abolish certain positions because you have to pay separation. Maglalabas ka muna ng pera bago mo kitain yan eh. Kailan ma-realize yung 3 billion if 3% is right-sized?
The DBM says it is still finalizing the figures. The agency adds it may give the study on this by March or April. Meanwhile, Senate President Cheese Escudero clarified the right-sizing bill is not just about reducing employees and saving money. The senator says this is also for more efficient delivery of services.
If we approve this bill and we authorize the president to so reorganize the executive branch, the creation of the offices you want to create can and will be done through or by executive fiat. Hindi na kailangan dumaan sa Kongreso.
Some agencies will not be included in the plan, such as the Philippine National Police, the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, the Bureau of Fire Protection, and the Defense Department. The DND supports this, especially since they are transitioning to external defense.
Yung sa Armed Forces of the Philippines should not be included because of the security, evolving security. Masyado pong dynamic to be tied into law. That is why, based on the Executive Order 292, nasa Secretary of National Defense to determine the size and structure of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Kung itatide up po natin ito sa batas, ay baka po hindi maka-respond appropriately ang inyong sandatang lakas.
Sir, dinedelegate namin sa Presidente ha. Walang nakaspecify dito sa bill na to kung ilan, anong opisina, ng anumang ahensya. In fact, we are delegating the power of Congress to create offices to the President. Which is contrary to what you're saying na nilalagay namin sa batas. Hindi ha?
Regarding health, the DBM says the updated version of the proposed bill would include doctors, nurses, and other medical personnel. This is for more permanent positions for them. But nurses are calling for more changes, especially when it comes to pay.
Some nurses are classified as agricultural. Actually, in the labor code, nurses are classified as non-agricultural workers, for which reason they are given just the minimum wage. So for the longest time, we've been asking labor to please classify them accordingly because they are professional and PRC accredited practitioners. So that's the reason why nurses in the private sector receive minimum wage, no? At ang panawagan po nga namin kagaya ng Philippine Nurses Association i-standardize to 50,000 starting salary ang mga nurses kaya nasa pribado sila o pampublikong sektor.
The difference in pay among workers in various local government units was another issue. According to the Philippine Independent Public Sector Employees Association, those working for 6th-class LGUs earn 35% less than those from 1st-class LGUs.
Yung sweldo po nung mga LGU employees and officials, ang nagbabayad yung LGU.
Yes, sir.
At kaya 6th class, 5th class siya, ibig sabihin, mababa yung income ng LGU. Kung ipantay po namin yun sa 1st class, wala hong pambabayad yung LGU. So, the question is, where will the money come from to pay for the differential? I agree with you, but
thank you.
How do we implement it?
Escudero adds they will look into the issue. Reviewing the mandates of agencies, including those deemed obsolete, will also be part of the DBM study regarding the bill. According to the Senate President, they will file the substitute bill on Monday. Agatha Gregorio, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
A stern warning from U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. He says hell will break loose if Israeli hostages held by Hamas are not returned to their families by the time he's in office. The hostages were taken during the October 7, 2023 attack that triggered the latest war in Gaza.
All hell will break out in the Middle East. And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone. All hell will break out. I don't have to say anymore, but that's what it is. And they should have given them back a long time. They should have never taken them. There should have never been the attack of October 7th. People forget that.
Bowing to criticism from conservative social media giant Meta Platforms is ending its fact-checking program in the U.S. The move is Meta's biggest overhaul of its approach to managing political content. It also comes as CEO Mark Zuckerberg tries to mend fences with the incoming Trump administration.
First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US. After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US. So over the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system.
At a press conference, President-elect Donald Trump praised the changes. He also praised Zuckerberg.
I watched their news conference, and I thought it was a very good news conference. I think they've come a long way. Meta, Facebook. I think they've come a long way. I watched it. The man was very impressive. I watched it on Fox. I'm not allowed to say that.
German car maker BMW unveils its latest technology. The panoramic iDrive is a next-generation dashboard system designed to revolutionize the driving experience. It features 4 key elements: a panoramic vision display for a wider view of the road, a central touchscreen with user-friendly controls, a 3D display for highly automated driving, and a multifunction steering wheel with quick and easy controls. BMW says this technology will be standard in all new models starting late 2025. It was unveiled at the ongoing CES 2025, or the world's largest tech trade show in Las Vegas. Up ahead, Marvel Comics' first Filipino superhero set to appear in the upcoming Disney Plus series, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. We'll give you a look after the break. You're still watching Newsfeed at noon. In sports, a great escape for the TNT Tropang Giga in the PBA Commissioner's Cup. The Tropang Giga edged out the Meralco Bolts Tuesday at the PhilSports Arena 101-99. Calvin Oftana was named best player of the game, hitting 3 of his 5 triples to finish with 24 points. Ronde Hollis Jefferson led TNT with 24 points and 13 rebounds, including the game-winning free throws. Meanwhile, the Phoenix Fuel Masters cruised past the Terra Firma Jeep 122-108. Import Donovan Smith led Phoenix with 37 points and 7 rebounds plus 5 blocks. Jiu-Jitsu world champion Meggie Ochoa pulls down the curtain on her career as a national athlete. The 2023 Asian Games gold medalist revealed this on social media, saying she competed in her final campaign last October. Apart from the Asian Games, Ochoa is also a 2-time gold medalist in the Southeast Asian Games. In an interview on the scorecard, Ochoa says her run as a national athlete was a surprising yet fulfilling one.
It's a dream that I never even had as a child. Because I as a kid, I was like not really an athlete. And like now looking back, I'm like, wow, I mean, the way that my life turned out to be, I never would have expected it.
The last time is also now for John Cena, as the 16-time WWE World Champion has kicked off his farewell tour. The wrestling superstar/actor announced. And before we go, Pinoy pride on the world stage as Marvel Comics' first Filipino superhero is making her animated debut. Wave joins the cast of the upcoming animated Disney Plus series, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. This will be released on the platform on January 29. The teaser shows Wave, or Pearl Pangan, accidentally bumping into Spidey's alter ego, Peter Parker, at school. Wave is a swimmer from Cebu who was first introduced in 2019. Her co-creator is acclaimed Filipino comic book artist, Lainil Yu. And those are the news this hour. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Keep it here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Good afternoon.